Hi, baby. What you doing? Your flight left yet?
All right, you guys, welcome to Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics. Hope you all have been having a fabulous day. And of course, I brought both my girls, Lovie D and Jen, for Real 100.
Hey, hey.
Hey. So, you guys, today's topic is going to be a very juicy one. Men versus women in the society contradictions. And I promise you, this will not be a male bashing show. We're just going to be talking about the contradictions of men versus women, which I'm sure we all have seen either in real life or on social media, right?
Yep.
So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and point out some men versus women society contradictions. So I know Jen has a lot to say on the subject because she is always on Twitter.
I do.
And I see a lot on TikTok, but I'm going to go ahead and let Jen start this show off today for you guys. Jen, take it away.
All right, Jen for Real 100 here. And yes, I have an issue. My male friends and I get into these arguments. I have an issue with double standards between men and women that society pushes upon us. And as women, we're fighting. We're fighting it back. But the men are stuck in those old traditional ways. They're listening to what their grandpa, their daddy said. And I'm trying to let them know this is a new day and time. And for some reason, it's always been this old wives' tale, I guess, that when a woman turns 50, if she's not married by then, that she's going to be a cat woman. She's going to be lonely. She ain't going to never get a man. I'm like, do y'all know that when women are in their 50s, we're in our prime? Right. That we start learning more about ourselves and really getting into our own at that age. I'm like, and men don't understand that. And then they try to date us and they're like, oh, you're too difficult. You want too much. No, we know what we want now. At this age, we know what we want, what we don't want, what we want to put up with, don't put up with. We have risen, our standards have risen now, and then in the same difference, on the flip side, women look at men under a certain age as immature. You're just immature, immature man. And then when an older man gets a younger woman, in an older woman's mind, we're thinking, okay, he wants a younger woman because he wants someone that will put up with his BS, a woman that is very impressionable and he can trick her and she'll believe anything he say because he know that he can't tell them same lies or trick somebody his own age because we done that. So he has to make himself feel good by dating a younger woman.
So do you feel like that's the only reason why a man is dating a younger woman is because he wants that control?
I think so, because what does a 60-year-old have in common with a 20-year-old?
Ooh, that's a huge age difference, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what is going on. What do you have in common to talk about? I mean, look at the generation gaps. Or even she's 30 years old. What do you have to say to a 30-year-old?
I don't think he's trying to talk.
What do you think you're trying to do, Bree?
At least not with his mouth.
And it's like, and I think they're trying to get their youth back. It's like they feeling like they're getting, especially the men midlife crisis. They get a convertible, and want to try to get a young woman to convert them. Like, you trying to catch up with her, keep up with her rather.
Yeah.
Or it could be that the younger woman is looking, she has daddy issues. Maybe she chased him.
Or she's just looking for a provider because, she want to live what the new thing is called the soft life.
I will say this. I do think that it is more acceptable in society for an older man to date a younger woman versus an older woman to date a younger man.
Yeah.
Because I know what, they probably call like an older man dating a younger woman zaddy or whatever it is. But,
I call him a sugar daddy.
Okay, that. But what they call women are what? Cougars.
But they make it seem so bad to be a cougar.
Right. Like a whole animal.
But even before the term sugar daddy came out, it was like, Like it was like sugar daddy was kind of undercover. You know, the young girls messed with the sugar daddy a long time ago. It's always been a thing, but now it's so wide open. But there was never a name that they was given to the man as being sugar daddy. But the women's like, oh my gosh, she a cougar. She should be shaming herself. She got that young man. She looked like his mama. Okay, well, he looked like her daddy.
Exactly.
And it looks kind of gross.
Yeah. And then I know like they were talking about, I think Madonna is one of the people who dates a younger, typically dates.
Yep.
It may have been Cher too. I'm not quite sure. I think Cher, Madonna, and I can't think of some other, Drea, we just talked about too. And there's, and people always look at it in such a negative light, but when it comes to men, I don't really see a whole lot of negative kickback like you do when it's the woman that's the older.
I think it's been acceptable for a very long time. I mean, if you even think back way back when, I'll even say in my parents' ages in the late 30s, early 40s, it was common for young, older men to date much younger women. So you might have found a 50-year-old man who lost his wife may go and get a 15-year-old young girl to tend to the children he already has, as well as take care of the home. So it was very common practice. I'm going to use the term back in the day of older and dating younger women. So it's always been so acceptable. So now that the page has turned and women are the ones starting to date older men, they want to look down on it. So,
exactly, because you know why? That puts the woman in power, you guys. They got the power role now.
Think about it like that, Bizzy Brea.
Because they like to put you in a box. I talk about this a lot, like on my TikTok.
I hate them trying to put us in a box.
Yeah, like they try to put you in a box.
Yes. I had this guy tell me, like he's married. He was trying to convince me I might as well be with him because I'm 50. All right, if you don't take up my offer, you're just going to be an old cat woman. So I said, where you get that from?
Well, first of all, if you're in a big city, a lot of women who are over 40 get approached by younger men. I don't think that's talked about enough.
I know.
Every woman that I know that's over 40 gets approached by a lot of younger men at the same time. So you can't say that.
And the younger men, they're gonna say, look, it's so funny. There was this debate on Twitter, whatever. What happened, either on Twitter or on TikTok? What happens when you meet with an older woman meets a younger guy? There was everybody say, what's the favorite phrase when you was like, boy, what's your age? What is the reply to man? The little boy gonna say? Always, age ain't nothing but a number. I like older women. I only date older women. I'm mature for my age. Girl, it was so funny because I was like, all of these sayings I actually heard.
Wow.
And the thing about it is, it's unfortunate. I don't want to use the term unfortunate. It's too common that I think a lot of older women do give into it for the reason of the sexual life, because they feel like, in some cases for women I've talked to that are my age and older, they want a younger man because they feel like men their age can't keep up with them sexually. And they like a younger man can give them sex on a regular. Like me, I'm 50. I am at my sexual peak. So I want it, but I don't want to talk about it. Man get it. But a lot of older women now, they're good with that because, hey, as long as he can perform in bed and give me that pleasure, I'm okay with getting him an Xbox. I'm okay with making sure he got the new Jordans. I'm okay with feeding him home to his mama.
Wait.
They don't have all the other responsibilities. What,
Jen? I got kids 32, 29, and 26. Baby, I'm not buying no Xbox, no Jordan. Been there, done that.
Yeah, you do that for your sons.
Thank you. So I'm not finna buy no more
I'm just saying, there are those older women out there who are okay with getting a younger man just for that part of their life, the sexual pleasure of their life.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of them will give into the younger man, quote unquote, relationship, but probably not so much marriage in a lot of cases, but they want the younger man versus the men their age.
And that probably goes for the same thing for guys, because a lot of people will say, well, you're dating a woman who's 10 to 20 years younger than you. What could you possibly have to talk about? You're not going to have the same music genres in common. Half the time, they don't even know the artists that you're listening to.
Right.
They don't know Sexy Red.
Right. But there are those teachable moments. Maybe the guy wants to be the teacher and she can be the learner. I don't know, but having a back and forth conversation with a huge age gap could probably be an issue, but some people probably don't really care about conversation. They're looking for something different.
You're right. And then I was watching a dating show where this guy was like between 45 and 50, and he was dating younger women. Somebody asked him, like, why are you dating younger women? He said, because I want a child. And there's more chances that if I date someone in their 30s, that I'm going to have a child. He said, I decided to have kids later in life. And he was like, my odds are greater to have a child with someone younger than with someone older. And he was like, that was his main goal of dating younger because he wanted a child. And I was like, I understood. I mean, it really made sense. I was like, okay, so you're not being an old pervert. You really.
Now, let me ask you guys, with that being said, Jen, to kind of piggyback off that, do you guys think more men than women go to other countries to get a spouse or significant other because of the age difference is more acceptable? Like, I'm going to use the Philippines in general. A lot of older men go to the Philippines and get younger women and bring them back to the U.S.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has something to do with being submissive and looking at them as a leader because of their economical society influence.
But do they go and get them as a younger woman, or do they go and get them just because they want someone? They don't feel like they can find their mate in the U.S., so they go to another country.
There may be a correlation between that. Absolutely, there could definitely be a correlation, but at the same time, I think it more so has to do with the whole cultural difference and them looking at them like, oh, you're from America, you can provide more.
Okay,
that's what I.
But do we see a lot of women do that? We know I've watched 90 Day Fiance. And I do see some women that go to other countries, but they're usually looking for someone around their same age, maybe different race. But I see a lot of older men who go to those third world countries and get a much younger bride.
You're probably right.
So do we think
it goes back to
younger men from other countries? Like Stella got a group back, we'll say.
I can only go off of people who I know. I don't, in my group, I don't see that. But overall, society maybe, but I don't really see that too much. But I mean, it could be. I think more a woman would be like, they're a plaything versus somebody serious.
Exactly, Brie, because I've gone to, when I first saw it was in Dominican Republic, and my ex and I was at this club. And so you can tell the women were like scantily clad, dressed, whatever. So they were really the can I say the word sex worker? They were the ladies of the night. They were looking for
ladies of the night.
They were looking for a proposition.
There you go. And that area is known for that too.
So they was looking for a proposition and a negotiation of making a deal between the tourist men and the women. These were older white women that were with these younger Dominican dudes. And I was looking like, what in the world? I mean, they were just all over them. So me being Jen, I'm going to ask. So I got one by herself. I was like, I said, why you with that old woman? I'm whispering like, why you with that old woman? He was like, because he said, oh, she pay me money. He said, every month I get an allowance. He said, her and her girlfriends come here every year and spoil us. I was like, shut your mouth.
But is she
she married?
That's my point. So
she was just his boy. He was her boy toy. So I think there's a difference in that. That's what the women go down there and do. Now,
that's the same thing. But a lot of men do that. So
no, Lovie, no. When men going down there, go ahead.
I know a lot of men who go to other countries, and even right here in Atlanta, when they're in town, they have a place here. They have a place wherever else, New York, Florida, LA. But when they're in Atlanta, they have a lady that they spend their time with when they're here. So if they're here for 2 weeks, they're going to spend those 2 weeks with Annie as their woman while they're in Atlanta.
No, I agree with you. But I think more men tend to wife them up, though. I do think, because I've seen it.
But as a trophy.
And the thing is, there's
kids with them. They have kids with these women and have them as their wives.
And there's the
power plants and engineers. They are wifing these women from Colombia, from Venezuela,
but they're from other countries.
That's correct.
Because they're different.
Yeah, and one of the other shows I talked about, if you're into that social media real heavy, and you listen to the Passport Bros, they're downing American women. and saying that, especially Black women, they're saying
because Black women in America are making a lot of money, especially in Washington,
Yes.
D.C., Atlanta, Detroit.
We don't treat them right. We call them broke. We call them, even though it may be true. But see, they go to another country, and those four figures they make go a long way, and it's very impressive. Four figures, thousandaires. It make 100naire. Some of them ain't thousandaire. That goes a long way in another country where a US dollar is $100 in another country. No, it's 100 pesos to one US dollar. So you're rich to them. And then, but the thing is, some of those women just use them because they want to come to the United States, get their green card. So
and then they get the money and send it back to their people.
Yes. Or some of them will do anything to get that green card. They'll make you think you the best man on earth. But going back to Eddie Murphy on Fum Fum, when he get on Fum Fum back from Africa, and he had her a certain way till she got over here and got Americanized. She started asking for half. So anybody that know Eddie Murphy from the way back, or if you don't know, go to YouTube, look it up on Fum Fum. And when they got to America, it kind of changes. And I knew a lady who her ex-husband, she was friends with her ex-husband, and she said he dated a lady in Dominican Republic. She was I want to say a housekeeper or whatever he met. Well, anyway, they dated for a couple of years, and he had her set up an apartment. We had cameras in her apartment to watch her, whatever. That, he watched her, and that was the craziest thing ever. He moved her to the United States. She got over here. All the men was how beautiful you are, how beautiful, because she's exotic and all that. Baby, she left him high and dry.
Competition.
She was depressed because he was an older man, and she started hanging out in the clubs, and them ballers got to her.
They don't think about that when they make the selections, and I think it's the same with women. I'm playing devil's advocate as usual. I think it's the same thing with women when they get these much younger men that's 25 and you 55, and then he starts want to go out. He wants to go to the shake joint and to the clubs, and you want to stay at home and Netflix and chill. Now he didn't sing Susie out there twerking, and she's 23. So guess what? Now you're gonna have that issue, 55-year-old mom, because now your 23-year-old wants to be with someone his age, or at least doing the things he's doing, like Bree said earlier, someone he's more compatible with.
Wait a minute, did you say the shake joints?
The shake joint.
Shake a tail fella place.
That's everything, I guess. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had
the
to
shake joint.
Yeah,
Y'all know what the shake joints are.
The shake joints.
I heard they have good chicken wings there. Not that I would know.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
You guys, we're talking about the contradictions, and
I heard it from somebody. My sons told me.
It is real with the contradictions. I think, to whatever you want to do, either man, woman, if you want to go to another country to wife somebody or to make somebody your husband, or just to have fun, just be safe, at least, because, especially if you come back and deal with, your, because I know some people who have,
we're not condoning infidelity.
We're not condoning it, but I do know people who have a wife here in Venezuela, and then they have their wife in Iowa, and then they, it's interesting. But I also wanted to kind of dive into the fact that I kind of want to switch it up a little bit, and I want to dive into the fact that women are allowed to be emotional and be able to talk about their emotions, but men are typically taught to hold it in. And they're not allowed to have a bad day. They're not allowed to cry. A lot of their fathers are teaching them this, So I want to definitely talk about that. And I want to know, too, because Jen has 3 boys, and how, maybe your sons were taught with their emotions and things like that, and how it's affecting them now that they're in their dating ages of 32,
29, and 26.
Okay, so you guys, when we come back, again, we're talking about men versus women and society contradictions and how it affects us all. So when we come back, we'll dive into men and women and their emotions and how they're taught. Be right back.
97.3 FM would like to thank our sponsor, Great Giant Supermarket, for their support. Great Giant Supermarket is located at 1226 Madison Ave Southeast, on the corner of Hall Street and Madison Avenue. Great Giant Supermarket has helped stabilize the Southeast Side Madison Square Commercial District by providing food security and access for local residents, and our community greatly appreciate their commitment. Great Giant Supermarket provides groceries, meats, hot food to go deli, and a full line of beverages including liquor. Great Giant Supermarket's meat department has just been remodeled and now have more meat selections available. Thank you, Great Giant Supermarket.
You are listening to Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics on the Heat 97.3 FM.
Tune in to Reality Check every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. on The Heat, or listen online at www.theheat973.com.
Support for The Heat 97.3 FM comes from Grand Rapids Community College, Tassel M-Tech.
Start your career in healthcare. Career training programs at Grand Rapids Community College prepare you for in-demand jobs like certified nurse aide, community health worker, direct support professional, pharmacy technician, and phlebotomy technician. Financial aid assistance is provided to eligible students to complete their studies. For more details, go to grcc.edu/healthcare.
All right, you guys, we are back from break and we're having a heated discussion. We are talking about men versus women and society contradictions. And we left off talking about how we feel like women are freer to express their emotions and just their opinions in general, and how we feel like men were bred or raised to not discuss their emotions and opinions and things of that nature, and how they have to be really strong. So Lovie, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about, in your dating life or in being married, do you feel that contradiction does exist with men and women, and how that has affected your relationships with men?
I believe more so that in my upbringing with my parents, my dad is one that never showed emotion as far as pain, hurt, bereavement. He never showed it us growing up. Never even heard him say, "I love you."
Wow.
Until I would say I'm 50, probably late 30s.
Oh, wow.
And we all pitched in, it's 11 of us. We all pitched in and bought him a boat for his birthday. And he was so overjoyed. And then he finally walked out of the room and he came back and said, we said, "I love you, Dad," blah, blah, blah. And he walked up, he came back, he's like, "I love y'all too." He said it kind of funny, and I think literally all of us jaw dropped. So Dad was never one that showed his emotions in the house. He was never like a huggy, touchy-feely. My brothers are pretty much the same way except for one, Vincent. He's the middle boy of the 5.
Okay.
Now he shows his emotions. He's more in tune, but as far as being raised to show their emotions, it's always been tough it up, suck it up. My dad is a carpenter by trade. It was get the hammer and nails, feed the dogs, come on the fish ditch, dig the worms. It was never a sit down, "I love you, son" moment. And I think it affects my brothers even to this day. They're all very close to Dad. I have 5 brothers, but I don't think they have that. I could sit down and literally pour my heart out to my dad and get a heartfelt response.
I think the fact that you guys, Jen and Lovie, that men are taught to, just be quiet. No one wants to hear about your emotions. You're there to be a provider, basically almost kind of like a robot, maybe, that it affects their relationships, their current relationships, with their children, their marriages with their wife, because, women, we like to talk, obviously.
But now my dad, he'll talk. He will talk. He'll have a full-fledged conversation about the war, about the news.
But not about how he's feeling.
Not about his emotions. The only time I've heard my dad show emotion and actually cry. Actually cry. And if you knew my dad, for anybody back home that hears this, that knows my dad, they'd be like, "No, not Mr. Jordan." It's when my nephew got killed. And my dad hurt. And I that was the first time I ever saw my dad show any emotion out of strong.
Wow.
Ever.
Well, Jen, I want to go ahead and turn this question over to you. So, in dealing with like your father, brothers, maybe your sons, and things of that nature, do you feel, Jen, that it's been difficult in dealing with men, or even in your dating life, and your ex-husband and things like that? Do you feel like they're not as in tune with their emotions and I don't know, maybe speaking about their opinions and things like that?
So I can speak on my ex. He learned from his father not to show emotion.
Yeah.
He taught my sons when they were little not to show emotion. Don't cry, you're a man. But I took it upon myself to let them be free of their emotions.
Right.
So I always had that tight relationship with them because I never had that voice with my mom. And I don't blame her for it. She did the best she could. She had 2 jobs. She was too busy trying to raise kids. She had trying to coddle nobody, even though I was a sport brat. I got anything I want, but she didn't have time to sit there and have those deep conversations with me. Some people are like, me and my mom are best friends, whatever. We never had that kind of connection. So I intentionally made sure that when I had kids, I was going to make sure I had developed a bond with them. So, my 3 sons, they're respectfully my best friends. And so I've really decided to make sure that I felt their emotions. I let them open up to me. I let them know it's okay to cry. I let them know that they can tell me anything, and they tell me stuff that I don't even want to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just like, oh, okay, yeah. And so they really open up to me about their relationships, and they tell me their feelings. And I'm like, oh my God, I realized that as women, we don't pay enough attention to a man's feelings. And I know in my dating life, I have been guilty of that. I have been guilty that a man don't feel, especially if you do me wrong. I'm feeling that if you doing me wrong, then you don't care how I feel. So I'm thinking you ain't got feelings. Then I realized that, men do have feelings. And I think that more men need therapy for those feelings. And I was very shocked or surprised. I don't know why, but shocked, surprised. My middle son, he's very emotionally intelligent, that he enrolled himself into therapy. He said, because he just said he wanted to be a better person. He was thinking about getting married. So he was like, let me go to therapy. And so he did therapy. He has a girlfriend. He was trying to put her through therapy. She doesn't really like the whole therapy thing. So they're going through whatever they're going through. My youngest son, he had a tumultuous relationship with the girlfriend's first love. And that was just, ugh.
But do you think that he was not in touch with his emotions because of your ex-husband, because of their father? Do you think that was partly why it was tumultuous?
No, not with the girl. No, she was not with my youngest son. My youngest son, he's very deeply he's very deeply emotional. All of my kids are really, but no, it was a point that she came from a place of hurt when he met her. When he met her, she was 20 years old. She's from California, moved to Atlanta to come to Clark College. Her mother died unexpectedly, wasn't sick or anything. Her mother died. So just think, she's the only child. So you're only child, you move cross country, your mother dies, you come right back to college, finish college. She had a lot of hurt with her. She had a lot of hurt, anger, and she took it out on my son. And
so was your son able to, because I know we're trying to stay on track here as far as the male perspective of being able to deal with their emotion. Was he able to help her with her emotions because you gave him a more solid foundation, or he was not able to help her because he was not emotionally in tune himself?
She was not. She preyed on his emotions. She was the antagonizer in the situation. She was the aggressor.
With his emotions.
He showed her his emotions. She did not care because she was coming from a hurt place.
Gotcha.
And whenever something was like to go wrong with him, he'll come to me. He always had me to fall back on, and she was angry with him about that. She'll lash out with him. Well, you got your mama. You could do that because you got your mama. You got your mama. So, and she knew that he talked to me a lot.
Okay. So I want to ask Bree. Bree, you don't have any. So I know Jen and I both have sons, but you don't. So would you say with your husband, because that's the male part of your life. Would you say that your husband is in tune with his emotions, and was he taught by his dad to be in tune with his emotions?
So I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to actually add that. So, but first I will say I had 3 brothers.
Okay.
3 younger brothers. And I don't think that they were always in tune with their emotions as well. But going back to my husband, no. He was taught by his father as well. A man's job is to provide and protect. No one has time for your feelings, really.
Oh, wow.
And that does, I feel like that affects I felt like it affects him in our relationship because I could see that he's hurting in some areas of some things that he may have been going through. Whether it be, the passing of his father or situation maybe with his own children and things that he was dealing with. And I would never know what it is. And I'm trying to pry it out of him. I'm, as a woman, but also more an extrovert, I'm in your face.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hurting, you're going to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it not just like I'm just going to throw up all over everybody emotionally, but I know that if I get it out, I'm going to feel better. Because I've always been like that as a child. Like, I need to get this out. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I'll hold it in, but I can only hold it in for so long because it's going to end up eating me up like a cancer. So when we got married, I did notice that he would hold a lot of things in, and I'm trying to pry these things out of him. What's wrong? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I could just, and we did talk about that part of his life where he did tell me that his father taught him that, a man's job, no one cares about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to provide and protect and take care of the home and the house and your wife and the kids. And that's it.
Wow.
So absolutely. I do, and I do feel like even sometimes now he probably feels like I don't have a safe place always to bear myself. And that hurts a little bit. And so I've tried my best to make it a safe place, safe space for him.
So Jen, Bree, how do we, and I know like you're saying, you're trying to make it a safe place for him to be able to express his feelings. So Jen, Bree, how would we suggest to our listeners of being able to help our men, young and old alike, who've been taught not to show your emotions, to give them a comfort place to come to? Because sometimes when, like you say, you want to keep asking, what's wrong? I'm here for you. It can be almost annoying or aggravating because they've been taught so hard, like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to tell you what's wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm going to deal with it, yada, yada, yada. How do at some point, other than like Jen suggests, going to therapy, how do we as the women in their life help them be able to calm down, to be able to give them that safe place to express themselves, to say, it's okay to cry. It's okay to lay your head on my shoulder. It's okay to know that everything's not going to always be okay. Where did we begin?
I'm going to say this real quick. I'm going to go first, Jen, if you don't mind. Sometimes we just need to be quiet. We talk too much.
That part.
We talk too much about everything. So if I know and obviously we have a talk show for a reason because we like to talk. Okay?
That part.
But if I need to talk and I know he's going through something, maybe I call Lovie and say, Lovie, I need to talk. And if Lovie has time to talk and she's like, Brea, I can't talk, maybe I call Jen and be like, Jen, I need to talk. Because it's a lot for them. They hear us all the time and they don't want to hear our banter all the time because they got stuff they want to talk about. But they're not going to, because of their training and their programming, they're not going to come to us if they feel like they're competing with our verbal banter, if that makes sense. So sometimes I think we need to stop talking so much to them about our problems and how we're feeling. We do have friends. And this is another reason why I'm a huge advocate. If you're married or in a relationship, you should keep your friends, because the husband or your boyfriend or the man is not always going to understand what you're going through. Maybe you have a close relationship with your mom. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's a sister or, a friend or something. But I do think it's important to not always feel like you have to express yourself all the time to the man, because then there's no room for him to express himself to you. So sometimes I feel like we just have to be quiet and let him have that safe space and stop complaining about every single thing. Choose your battles. And then allow him to talk to you. And it is difficult because if they're not saying what you want to hear,
right? You're gonna keep plugging.
That's been my issue. Sometimes I have to just be quiet and give him a space, because sometimes we don't give them that space or that time to talk. We're so busy, blah, 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 and look what happened at work, and oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. And so did this. And they're over there hurting while you're sitting here doing what you do every day. So I think, honestly, sometimes it's very simple, Lovey. Sometimes just be quiet and allow him to come to you.
Jen, would you agree with that? Or do you think that therapy is the real solution?
No, I don't think therapy is the real solution. I just think that some men need to have that therapy to unprogram themselves from what they was taught about not showing emotions. But I wholeheartedly agree with Brea. I was about the same thing. But since Brea already said the talk, we need to be quiet. I want to add that we need to listen more.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
And when they do talk, we need to listen and actually hear them.
Yep. And not always have something to say back.
Right. Exactly. Like, we don't have to always respond. Be quiet and listen. Because you'll know a lot of times a man will fall back into that being quiet and listening to us before we as women will be quiet and listen. Because
that is a great answer.
Yeah. And we should be their peace.
I think to piggyback on both you guys, I know we're getting ready to come up on break, is that I totally 100% agree with you guys. Be quiet, listen. But I think also starting off to be quiet and listen with at least putting it out there that, babe, I'm here for you.
Yes.
That whenever you're ready to talk, or if you need to talk, I'm here for you.
That's exactly.
So I think that's where we need to start with. Then be quiet and listen.
So we all need to do better. Well, with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. We're having a great discussion on men versus women in society contradictions, and we'll be right back.
Programming for The Heat 97.3 FM is brought to you in part by Gun Lake Casino.
Win a new truck, a boat, cash, and more. It's the $100,000 golden ticket at Gun Lake Casino. Saturdays in March, win up to $5,000 plus golden ticket entries for the grand prize. Then at 10 p.m. on March 30th, one winner takes it all. 10 grand, a Ford F-150, a Ford Escape, an Indian Scout bike, and a Tracker bass boat. It's the $100,000 golden ticket only at Gun Lake Casino. See Reward Center for details.
For the latest in entertainment, culture, and sports, tune into Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time on The Heat 97.3 FM and online at www.theheat973.com.
Be sure to tune in this Friday at 11 a.m. on Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics for an exclusive Bunny DeBarge interview based on her book, The Kept Ones. You will not want to miss this show. I'll see you guys there.
Let's build a life together. Share love beyond compare.
WJWC, The Heat 97.3 FM is sponsored by Gerald R. Ford International Airport. Enjoy nonstop peace of mind when you choose one of our Gerald R. Ford International Airport's 30-plus nonstop routes. Learn more at flyford.org.
Hi, baby. What you doing?
All right, you guys, we are back from break. We're having a great discussion, a deep discussion on men versus women and the society contradictions. And we are all over the board on this one. But we're talking about how we feel like men have been conditioned by their fathers and just society in general to not be able to express their emotions. And I know, Jen, you got some more to say about it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to you.
Yeah. Recently, as of last Sunday, I was a guest on a podcast. And one of the questions that was asked of me, I don't know why me, and one of the guys was like, well, Jennifer, because you have more experience, you're a little, more mature than we are. He was saying, what do you feel that women are doing wrong in relationships? And immediately I rattled off, talk too much. Mm-hmm. Don't listen. Demasculate the man. Don't let the man be a man. The aggressive tone and the way they talk, and just not allowing a man to have that space to feel safe. Always the unnecessary nagging and, all that type of stuff. So I was like, let a man be a man. Like, I've had a situation where a friend, she has a hard time letting a man be a man. She was dating this guy. I mean, this man was like, you a high power contractor in Atlanta with government contracts, city contracts. I mean, you were big dog. And he came to her house and one of her window panes from her garage was broken out. So he was like, hey, I mean, this man owned a whole construction company. So he said, hey, next time I'm over here, I'm going to fix that for you. Here she go. I can fix my own stuff. I'm looking at her like, girl, wait. Yeah. I can fix my own stuff. And then she gonna laugh. Do you even own a hammer? I said, baby, let me slow you down right there. When she told me to start, let me slow you down. I said, honey, he don't have to own a hammer because you know why? He writes the checks to the people that holds hammers.
There you go.
I said, you demasculated that man.
Mm-hmm. He was trying to help and assist.
Yes. And I told her, and the thing about it was, so then her whole relationship with him, even after that, she's worried about, I need a deck built on the back of my house. I need a deck. I want a deck. I said, if you wouldn't have did that to that man, you would have had your deck and anything else you needed by now.
And
when you cut, exactly. I said, but when you told him, when you denied him that right to be a man right there, he ain't asked you about nothing else. However, me on the other end, I was in that situation when I dated a general contractor. And baby, I let him do whatever he wanted to do.
Yes. Yeah. Because I don't want to do it.
Shells, whatever he wanted to do, I let that man do. And I used to be the one like, no, I can do this. No, I can do this. I started saying, you know what, let me soften myself up. And I'm like, and a guy told me a long time ago when I first got divorced and I was dating, a man was like, I know you can do it. He said, I know. He said, I think you're dumb. I know you're capable of doing it, but let me be a man and do it for you. I was like, well, holy word, let me sit back, shut my mouth and let this man be a man.
Because they want to do it and we have to allow them to do it. And that's the same thing with the emotions, like you were talking about. We have to allow them to have the emotions, but they're going to fall back and just let you talk all you want and not say anything while they're sitting there hurting and, suffering.
They're going to move on to the cleanup woman who's being their peace. And all she there for is to listen to him because she ain't with him every day. So she don't see the stuff. She don't have to put up with certain things we have to put up with. That's right. So she's there. That's all she is there to is to listen and coax him. And I've learned too, as far as a way, because like sometimes men are hard to open up. I'm a physical person. So I learned to just like physical touch. I learned to just rub their back if I feel like they're having a hard day. Or if they come home sign, or you can tell when somebody come home with a bad day, like don't bombard them with, oh, this happened, that. Come home, let them relax. And I just learned to give a back rub.
Like both of you just said,
rub their head. Rub their head or let them come home and just sit down for a minute and take a breather.
Okay. All right. So Bree, would you agree with that? Just being their peace, especially after a long day. And we don't always get that idea when they first walk through the door. It's always that something's wrong. But do you agree with just being their peace?
I mean, maybe not always being their peace because maybe, but yeah, I mean, the majority, the world can be cruel, as you know, especially to men,
especially to men,
and especially to minority and Black and brown men. Absolutely.
While we're talking about that, let's kind of switch gears or segue on into what we were talking about earlier about the customer service that we get from whether it's a man or a woman based on if you're a man or a woman. So we'll start with Bree. What would you say? Do you see that there's a difference, that your customer service is different from the men or from the women when you're at a restaurant, store?
Absolutely. Whatever. When it comes, so if it's a woman, I'm definitely not getting a lot of customer service.
Okay. Do you think it's because you're a woman?
Yes, absolutely. I do. There was one time where me and my husband were going to the post office and we were going to go get passports. And, it was a post office that, and I won't say where it was. And I'm not even going to say the county, but we were.
Oh no, there's only one.
But and he said, "Oh, this is just the best. Such great service." Okay, because he was by himself, and it was a woman. So when I came in, she found a reason to actually deny our passport application.
Wow.
Because I was with him. But when he was by himself,
everything was going great.
Everything was gravy, A-okay. Mm-hmm. But then on the flip side, I remember one time I went to Home Depot with him when we were remodeling our basement. Mm-hmm. And we came into Home Depot, you guys. And this guy, Home Depot tag. And he was like, "Hey, can I do anything to assist you?" And I noticed the annoyance of my husband. And I'm like, "Well, what's the problem? He's here to help us." And, I don't get why he's being like, is he having a bad day? Like, he seemed fine before we got in here. And he was like, "No, when I need you, we'll let you know." And I said, "Babe, what's going on? Why are you treating this man like this?" And he said, "Well, I've been in here every weekend. I see the same guy. He never asked me for help. Now I walk in here with you. And now all of a sudden he wants to be helpful."
I think it does come into play. And I will say, again, devil's advocate, I've gotten great customer service from women in a lot of cases, but I have had those instances where I've gone somewhere and the men seem to go out of their way to make sure that I had great customer service, or that I was being assisted, or if they said I may have been a bit annoyed with the female waitress or whomever I had helping me, that they'll come full circle around and say, "Hey, did you get everything you need?" And I do believe it was truly because I was a woman, not so much by the way I dress. I am a bit heavy chested, but
and that has something to do with it too.
I think even with that, but I think it's always just the flirt of the customer service of it that I think goes along with sometimes how you get the better customer service from one sex or the other. Jen?
I think it sometimes I've seen it in different settings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Like say if I go to a hardware store. I think the men workers do not ask the other men what to do. I mean, can they find something? Because they're probably thinking the man already automatically knows what he's there to look for. The man knows, or, that's a strong man. I don't need to ask him what to do. I don't need to ask him what he's looking for because he's a man. He knows what he's there for.
The ego thing.
Yeah, the men do the building. They know the tools, so, they don't need any help. But then they see the women coming in, they either one, think we don't know what we're doing. It's like the damsel in distress. She don't know what she's doing. Let me go and help her.
Right.
Or two, they're just being chivalrous. It's in their nature to always ask a woman, "How may I help you?"
Right.
Great. Yeah. I think that's great response, Jen. I looked at it that way, but I never looked at it that way until you just actually. I always looked at it as a flirt, or there was an ulterior motive behind someone, male, being to what I would consider overly generous in their customer service.
But so now I have to interject. So now we were at Main Event on a date night.
You and your hubby?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think I know where you're going with this, Bree, because I want to add to this too.
Yes, ma'am. So let me tell you this real quick. It's gonna be quick. So I went to the bathroom and he went to get drinks. Got served right away. There was only one bartender, and it was a woman. He got his drinks. Everything was great. I'm sipping my drink. Now he's like, "Do you want another drink?" We wanted to move to the other side of the main event, so now we could play the games and be big kids or whatever. So we both stand in line. And she acted like she didn't see us, to the point where, and she's serving other people around us. They're all men. So now she did not even ask us, did we want a drink?
She knew she couldn't pass that number to keep moving.
So now we have to get in line.
She didn't take her shot. She didn't shoot her shot before Bree came up there.
So now we have to go to the other line, and we got served right away with the general, line. So again, these are some of the things we face with being men, or maybe attractive too, may have a place to play into it as well when it comes to customer service. But again, we experience this all the time. Like, we even play a game. If it's a woman, I send him in. If it's a man, he sends me in. This is just what we do.
Get the discount.
Because we know it's going to go better if it's the opposite sex.
And that's crazy that you could even see that, that you have to quote unquote play that game, but rather than just getting great customer service just because you're a patron.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then I also feel like men tend to tip attractive waitresses better than if it was just like, say, if a man was waiting on them and say he did I saw this even like years ago with my first husband or just dating. I always noticed that the man would tip an attractive waitress, whether she did a good job or not. She was getting tipped better.
And you know, and I just have to say this. I went to the nail shop, and we know most of them are ran by a certain culture. And I will use the same girl because once you find someone you like, that's your pedicure, manicure, you want to ask for that same person, give me ling ling when I come in. So I'm just saying. So this particular time I come in, I'm getting just a manicure and I get my pedicure. So ling ling is over there doing this man's feet. And she gets through. I'm still getting my manicure while the other girl doing mine. And I look over Ling Ling to start giving this man a massage on his back.
Wait, what?
She was massaging his shoulders like...
Wait. At a regular nail salon?
At the nail salon. She starts massaging his shoulders while his feet soaking.
What?
And she just talking to him.
I've never seen that.
So when he gets through...
I have.
Wait, was this here in Georgia?
Yeah.
I've experienced that in Gwinnett County.
But my point being is,
the man gave me a massage, but then the lady did.
She didn't give me no darn massage. That was my point. I'm getting to.
I mean, what's her real name? Ling Ling.
Ling Ling. That's what I call them when I go in there. They always give themselves an American name. She understood it.
That's why you didn't get the massage.
But I told her.
I have Liz and I have Liz and V. Liz does my nails and V does my feet.
Okay, well, that's why feet does feet. But Ling Ling didn't give me no massage. I made it clear to her.
And Jen, did you get an extra massage on your feet?
Nope, she didn't. But I told Ling Ling, I'm not giving you I'm not gonna give you no big tip next time because I tip well.
Yeah,
I always tip well no matter where I go. Yeah. But I made sure Ling Ling understood. You never massage my shoulder. She said, "Oh, I massage next time." No, I don't even want it now.
So you really did confront her about that?
Yes, when she was walking away with Mister. I said, Ling Ling, you gave him a massage. You didn't ever give me no massage. Oh, I do next time. No.
Wait, maybe he tips her extra and that's just their thing.
Well, and maybe he's a regular and maybe that's what he goes to.
You don't tip extra
No, I tip well. I think, but going to the point of
just for her.
No, going to the point for this topic.
Yeah.
She gave him a massage because I'm sure he tipped her very well. I'm not going to say what his race was. But I'm sure he tipped her very well because he said, "Okay, I'll see you next time, blah, blah." So I was still really like, okay, Ling Ling, just so you know now, I'm not going to tip you as well as I usually do.
So again, you got to see the difference between how men and women are treated, depending on if it's a woman waiting on you or a man waiting on you.
Yes.
So anyway, okay, well, we've discussed.
So Ling Ling don't get big tip no more.
Oh my God.
I do shoulders for you. I do shoulders for you next time. No, you didn't. You too late.
All right, you guys. Well, this conversation's getting a little off topic now. Oh my goodness, I can't with you guys. Okay. Well, this has been a great show, you guys, discussing men versus women and society contradictions. We actually have to do another show because there's so much more to unpack here. Yeah.
We do. I need to talk about the other side of when women are in service elements, and then like you're working with the man and women, especially when I'm in real estate, and then we have to make sure we look at the man so the woman won't get intimidated. And I've lost a client one time because he said my wife said you were too good looking to help us.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break. I hope you enjoyed this show, and we'll be right back.
Funding for 97.3 FM is provided in part by La Familia Stop and Shop, located at 1066 Cesar E. Chavez Avenue Southwest, providing groceries, convenience, and libations to local community.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brea with Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics. I hope you've been tuning in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where me and my friends Lovie D and Jen for Real 100 bring you the best in interviews, hot topics, entertainment news, and much, much more. If you can't be anywhere else, then be at Bizzy Bree's. We'll brighten up your day and make it just a little bit lighter.
Thanks for tuning into Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics on the Heat 97.3 FM.
This program comes to you by the Community Voice, La Voz Magazine, administrated by Dr. Jose Flores, Editor-in-Chief. You can find him at 1052 Granville Avenue, Southwest New Michigan. You can reach him at 616-581-6271. Gracias, Jose.
And that is the end of our show. This is Jen for Real 100, and I hope you enjoyed Bizzy Brea and Lovie D on Bizzy Brea's Hot Topics, where we keep up with the beat on the Heat 97.3. And holla. See you next time.
But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom.